Shekar Narasimhan is the chairman and founder of the AAPI Victory Fund that focuses exclusively on building the political power of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders community. Shekar is also the managing partner at Beekman Advisors, which provides strategic advisory services. In this conversation with Lalit K Jha, he discusses the rise of the South Asian community in US politics. This is an India Abroad video.
Clearly, the participation started with people willing to step out and write checks and support these candidates. And Hillary Clinton got a tremendous amount of support. I recall being told by the Democratic Party that Hillary support really the largest ethnic group that raised money for her were Asian Americans. And probably the largest inside the Asian American were the Indian Americans. So money was coming to the Democratic side. The work and the studies generally say that the trend has been that Asian Americans have voted more for Democrats, though it's been arrested a little bit starting in 20. The Republicans have made encroachment, but the South Asian is the way it's broadly defined, has tended to be the strongest voting bloc for Democrats. So you have two facets. Facet number one is money has been flowing and it seems to have increased, not decreased. Second, the vote share for Democrats has actually increased, not decreased. The third question is the level of participation. And, starting in 16, we noticed finally that Indians were becoming citizens. See, 70% of Indians came to this country after 2000. So a very large number of people were not green card holders, and then within that, there were many green card holders who had not become citizens. So even within the diaspora, while you can argue it was growing and all that, the number of people who were citizens who were actually voting was actually minuscule. My guess, honestly, is that less than 500,000 Indian Americans actually voted in 16. Which people say, oh my God, how can that be? Well, the arithmetic. It's if there were 3 million and only 2 million were citizens and only half of them registered to vote and only half of them actually voted, what is the number? You can come up with the arithmetic. The point was that it has to catch up. All these have to synergize. Money, engagement, and voting. They have to become sort of collapsed in order to have power. What has happened is that in Biden, in specific, in the first term, in 2020 onwards, enormous number of Indian Americans have now become senior level officials within the administration. Started in Obama, to give credit, in 2009 and 10, there were a large number of Indians, but nothing like what we have. We have, the head of the Presidential Personnel Office, Gautam Raghavan. We have the staff secretary and senior advisor, Neera Tandon. We have Rahul Gupta. You have Bharat Ramamurthy. Every place within the White House you are going to find in National Security Council, NEC, there are Indian Americans. And similarly across the administration, in terms of assistant secretaries. The latest is that, Ravi Chaudhary is getting a cloture vote for Assistant Secretary in Defense Procurement. These are all Rich Verma, we know. Then Ajay Banga for the World Bank. These are all, you can see visibility across the community. It's much harder to point to immediate, tangible successes in just areas that one community cares about over another. But one can always claim, look, we are trying. There's a list, an agenda. The agenda is in front of the right people. And if you get us elected again, we will carry this agenda forward and we want to make sure it becomes a priority. So I do think the community will stand with Biden because I think there's already proof of concept. And the question is, can we continue to energize them to come out and vote? Best organizer for the Asian American community was Donald Trump. He did more to motivate people to get up off their couches and do something than any other single person. Negative. But it works. Fear works in politics and division works in politics, as by the way, the Republicans and many political parties know just as well as positive reinforcement and encouragement and a very hopeful message. That works too. But this works also. So people know this, and in 2020 you had that. So let's just say if Donald Trump is on the other side, I see no reason for any slippage. In fact, I think there'll be even more energy to finally put him in a cave somewhere, and put to rest that he is that powerful. Suppose he is not the nominee on the other side, and it is Biden and Harris versus X, like DeSantis, and then there's a little wild card with Indians running, which we'll come to separately. I do think it's a much tougher race because the motivation on the negative side is less, and people are at least willing to listen to alternatives. When a president runs for a second term, they usually are running against somebody new. In fact, I don't think in history there's ever been a matchup that's occurred twice. I don't think actually ever in American history in 240 years. Pretty amazing.